Mansu believes that his life has turned out well. He has a large country house, a beautiful wife, Lee Miri, and a son and a daughter. After 25 years of loyal service, the company Mansu works for sent him eel meat. Miri is delighted with the new expensive shoes her husband bought her. They are happy in their marriage, and even after so many years the romance between them has not faded. Embracing his wife and children, Mansu feels that he is everything a person could not wish for more. The man works in the paper industry and is a highly skilled specialist. Therefore the sudden dismissal becomes a complete shock for him. The company is downsizing, so several more employees have been laid off. Each of them was sent eel beforehand. Mansu does not find the courage to tell his family about it. It feels so unfair. The company he gave 25 years of his life to simply threw him out. And even group therapy where people just like him, those who have lost their jobs, gather helps very little. The man knows he must tell his wife the truth, and it is very difficult for him to find the right words. He feels like a failure. However, the psychologist at the group therapy sessions encourages him, and Mansu begins to believe that in 3 months he will find a new good job, and everything will go back to normal. However, 3 months pass, then 13, yet Mansu has not been able to get any job except at a supermarket. It is physically demanding, exhausting work, and very low paid. In his free time he continues to go to job interviews, hoping to get a decent position, while Miri receives letters from the bank about overdue payments. At his next interview, a potential employer asks Mansu how he feels about the fact that if hired, he will be working under his former subordinate from his previous job. The man replies that he is fine with it. Right now he is ready to take on any work, since last year he bought back the country house he grew up in. Mansu also has to provide for his family. After the interview he is told they will call him, but Mansu knows what that means. For more than a year he has not been able to find anything suitable. This drives him into deep depression. Even his favorite hobby, gardening, no longer brings him joy. Mansu is angry at himself and at the whole world. Over dinner, Miri shares good news. She has found a part-time job at a dental clinic. It is time to admit that their family has hit a severe crisis. Lately they cannot even afford meat. The woman suggests selling both of their cars and buying something more modest for Mansu. In 3 months the bank will seize their house for unpaid debts. Mansu is devastated, for he worked so hard to buy that house back. Miri says they have no choice. It will be better if they sell the house themselves, along with everything else they can. Things are so bad they will even have to cancel their streaming subscriptions. But that is not the worst part. The couple has made the difficult decision to temporarily send their pets to Miri's parents. Mansu promises the children that as soon as possible they will bring the dogs back home. The first potential buyers come to view the house. The man is already planning to demolish the greenhouse in the yard and install a mini golf course in its place. Mansu cannot bear to hear it. The children do not want to move. Seeing their sad faces, the man realizes he will do anything to keep the house. But the next interview does not go very well, even though Mansu manages to steal the resume of every candidate applying for the desired position. In despair, he goes to a bar to drown his sorrow in whiskey. When his wife calls him on video, her indignation knows no bounds, because he is spending their last money on drinks. But Mansu has simply given up. The cello teacher of their daughter says that the girl needs a new instrument, and the price is very high. The parents of Yu Rian can no longer afford it. Mansu is desperate. He longs to get a job at the country's leading paper company, Moon Paper, but the competition is too high. Miri supports her husband, believing he can succeed. The next day from the rooftop of a building, Mansu watches one of the applicants for the position he wants talk on the phone below, unaware of anything. At some point a terrifying idea comes to Mansu, to drop a heavy flower pot directly onto his competitor. It would solve his problem. But at the last moment he abandons the idea, because there is no guarantee he would be hired for that position even if he gets rid of this competitor. There may be many more. In the meantime, a man named Ku Bayamo is in the midst of a long drinking binge, which irritates his wife. But when he sees a job advertisement for Moon Paper in a magazine, it inspires him, and Bayamo pours all the alcohol in the house down the sink. He has always preferred listening to music on a gramophone and writing letters on paper, avoiding modern gadgets. The man devoted most of his life to papermaking, but when the demand for paper sharply declined, he lost both his job and his sense of purpose. And now after a long period of idleness, Bayamo is ready to return to work with renewed energy. Mansu now has the resumes of all the applicants for the position. And despite his extensive work experience, he loses to at least 3 of them. Mansu begins the hunt, realizing that whether he gets the job will determine whether he can keep his house. The man tracks the first candidate, Bayamo, to his house in the forest. When the presence of Mansu watching through binoculars is discovered, he runs. However, he soon returns, knowing it is the only way. Bayamo and his wife are walking in the forest, Unaware that at that very moment Mansu is pointing a gun at the man, it belonged to his father. He waits for the right moment. Bayamo complains to his wife that he was not even invited to an interview. The woman in turn complains that she failed an audition at the theater. She has not been getting roles lately. At the same time, Ara recalls the moment she first met her husband. It was very romantic. But afterwards, for the next 20 years, nothing mattered to him except paper. Bayamo is convinced that this is his destiny. Suddenly he gets an idea. If no phone call came, the company might have sent a letter. He immediately rushes to check the mailbox. Miri has to juggle work and raising the children, and it is not easy for her. Mansu is bitten by a venomous snake, and Bayamo's wife gives him first aid. Fortunately, the worst does not happen. Overall, the man still has not solved his problem of eliminating the competitors. His responsibilities as head of the family weigh heavily on him. And although Xian is not his biological son, Mansu has been raising the boy since he was 2. He married Miri when she was divorced. It was love at first sight, but now their family is going through a crisis. The woman suggests that her husband tried doing something other than paper. He repeats Bayamo's words, saying that paper, that is his destiny. The next morning Miri wishes her husband good luck at the interview, not knowing that instead he is going to the house of Bayamo, where he sees Ara with her lover. It turns out that at this time Bayamo is at an Alcoholics Anonymous group therapy meeting. When the man returns home, Mansu calls him, pretending to be an employee of Moon Paper and saying that they are interested in his resume. All of this is aimed at luring Bayamo into a deadly trap. But things do not go according to plan when Bayamo enters the house to change clothes before the meeting with the supposed employer and catches his wife with her lover. Bayamo no longer cares about the job. He calls a friend and suggests having a drink. Mansu goes to pick up his wife and daughter. He does not like that the doctor whom Miri assists is young and handsome. The man still fears that despite everything, Bayamo might take the job from him, so he sneaks into his house and prepares to fire the gun. Mansu believes he is doing the right thing. But while he hesitates, Ara, who becomes a witness to it, picks up a heavy object and gets ready to knock out the intruder. In the chaos, Mansu tries to escape. Suddenly Ara, having seized the gun, shoots her husband. She is tired of enduring this hopeless, unemployed alcoholic. Mansu runs while the woman chases him with the gun. He manages to jump into his car and is horrified to discover 10 missed calls from his wife. The man has completely forgotten about the costume party he promised to attend with her. He rushes there as fast as he can, and when he arrives, he sees Miri dancing with another man, the doctor. Mansu is terrified of losing his wife because of his unemployment. She might think he is a failure and start an affair. He gets drunk, and when Miri comes home, he accuses her of cheating. The woman is furious and upset. Mansu had stayed sober for 9 years, and now he has slipped back into his old ways. When he is drunk, he becomes aggressive. Miri believes she has far more reasons to suspect Mansu than he has to suspect her. She has caught him lying many times. How could he have been bitten by a snake at an interview? Where has he been disappearing lately? The woman knows for certain that her husband is hiding something. He cannot explain it. He only says that he is fighting for their family. Mansu visits the second applicant for the position, Ko Shiho, who is currently working as a sales assistant in a shoe store. This man also has a young daughter. Mansu ought to empathize with him, for he too is a husband and father, but the world is arranged so that only the strongest survive. He convinces himself that he has no other choice. Late at night on an empty highway, he pretends that his car is broken down. Shiho, with whom Mansu had earlier spoken so warmly about papermaking, stops to help. While the man is looking under the hood, Mansu pulls out the gun. It is not easy for him, but he fires. It all happens without witnesses. Mansu takes the body. Thus the second competitor is eliminated. Mansu digs a grave right in his own yard, believing he is doing it for the sake of his family. One morning he is awakened by Miri, who looks worried. She says the police have come. The man thinks they have come for him and is ready to surrender voluntarily, but it turns out they have come for Xian. The boy was caught stealing. Miri blames her husband for everything. Ever since he lost his job, everything has begun to fall apart. Mansu tries to speak honestly with his son, saying that now they must stand together and protect their women. Only then will they be able to keep the family together. Xian remains silent. He only wanted to sell the stolen phones to help his mother financially. The couple will do anything to prevent their son from ending up in prison. They try to negotiate with the father of the other boy, the accomplice in the crime. This is the same man who wants to buy their house. When negotiations fail, Mansu threatens to tell the man's wife about his constant affairs. Later, the couple buries all the phones stolen by Xian. Whatever hardships their family is going through, their children remain their top priority. Late at night, while Xian is secretly smoking from his parents, he notices his father fussing around in the greenhouse. And he clearly is not tending to plants at that hour. The boy finds it suspicious, and rightly so, because at that very moment Mansu is preparing to get rid of Shiho's body. When the body is dealt with, he buries what remains of the man. Soon two detectives, an older one and a younger one, speak with Mansu. They have come regarding a series of strange disappearances. First Bayamo vanished, and then Shiho. What is interesting is that both men interviewed for the same company as Mansu. Right after the employer approved Bayamo's application, he disappeared. And then the story repeated itself. Shiho did not even have time to learn he had been accepted. Judging by the blood traces on the highway and the shell casing found there, it was a crime. Mansu assures the detectives that he knows nothing. When the officers leave, the man comforts his crying daughter, who misses the pets very much. He promises that soon everything will be the way it used to be. That same night, Mansu tracks the third applicant, Choi Shonchul. He is likely to get the position now that Shiho is gone. In any case, Mansu cannot take the risk and must ensure that all competitors are removed. Miri wonders what her husband is hiding from her. She knows him far too well. After waiting until his target is completely drunk, Mansu prepares to eliminate him, while Yushian confesses to his mother that he saw something suspicious in the greenhouse. Mansu still decides to give Shonchul a chance and tries to secure at least an assistant position for himself. Blind drunk, Shonchul promises to talk to the management. An assistant would indeed be useful to him, but the management is unlikely to approve the idea. The company has no interest in paying another salary. Mansu nevertheless comes to the conclusion that the death of all the applicants is his only opportunity. Hiding the gun, he lures Shonchul outside under the pretext of continuing their drinking by the fire. Mansu does not want to do this, but if he does not, the previous two deaths will have been pointless. Meanwhile, Miri digs up the grave in the yard and finds Shiho's body. She immediately calls her husband on video. Mansu lies, saying that he has made arrangements with someone from Moon Paper and that an interview is set for the next day. Barely holding herself together, Miri begs him to come home, saying she is worried about him, because all the applicants for the position at Moon Paper are disappearing. The man assures her that there is nothing to worry about. Miri urges her husband to confess if he is doing something wrong, promising that they will deal with it together as a family. But Mansu cannot back down now, when he is so close to his goal, and he coldly takes the life of Shonchul. Miri has no idea what to do now. The woman does not tell her son the truth, she simply cannot. At the same time, Mansu stages everything to look as if Shonchul drowned while drunk, and then acting as if nothing happened, returns home. He tells his wife that the interview went well. Miri allows him to hold her. At some point she cannot contain herself and cries. Miri knows that everything her husband has done, he has done for the sake of preserving their family. Mansu does end up getting the position. There is no longer any threat of losing the house, and they have been able to bring the pets back. Miri keeps the secret, as does Ara, who is responsible for her husband's death. She is the one who reported his disappearance to the police, creating a plausible story. After losing his job, Bayamo fell into depression and drank heavily. The woman also mentions that her husband had an unregistered weapon, which disappeared along with him. Thus all suspicions are lifted from Mansu. During their final conversation, the detectives advise him to be cautious of Bayamo, who according to the police, took Shiho's life and is now on the run. Everything has returned to normal. Mansu is once again a happy husband and father who cares for his family. And papermaking is indeed his calling. He will hold on to this job at any cost. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.